Hello, I'm Jill Wyoskowski, a librarian at Caroline Kennedy Library, and this is an episode of Branch Out. If you're like most folks, chances are you have a favorite author, or maybe you're just in a reading rut, reading everything by one author until you're caught up. Branch Out will profile the writing styles of popular authors and help you, the reader, branch out by finding authors with similar styles and themes. In this episode of Branch Out, we'll take a look at Stephen King. Let's get started. Stephen Edwin King, born in 1947 in Portland, Maine, is best known for his horror novels. He writes in many genres: dark fantasy, science fiction, psychological suspense, and others. No matter the genre, his fast-paced, character-driven stories are told in conversational language and feature well-developed characters. His appealing heroes and terrible villains arise from our innermost fears into the everyday world, which becomes increasingly twisted. Whether focused on real-world horrors of abuse or on supernatural terrors, good versus evil is King's most common theme. The protagonist must rise to meet the challenge of the horrific. Let's profile King's work so that we can branch out. King's main two genres, or type of fiction, are fantasy fiction and horror. The storylines for Stephen King's work are intricately plotted and character-driven. Pretty much all of King's work can be categorized as fast-paced. The tone of the novel essentially asks the reader, what are you in the mood for? Atmospheric, creepy, menacing, and suspenseful are four terms to describe the tone of Stephen King's novels. Last, but certainly not least, and perhaps the most important, the characters in the story. Stephen King creates a large cast of well-developed characters which add depth and layers to his plot lines. Based on the profile of Stephen King's writing, we'll be able to find other authors with similar writing styles. I'll introduce you to Neil Gaiman, Douglas Preston, Josh Malerman, Dean Koontz, and H.P. Lovecraft. Let's meet your next favorite author. Neil Gaiman has written in a dizzying number of genres and formats, meeting critical and popular success in all of them. His characters are memorable and complex and find themselves in surreal, often supernatural settings. Gaiman evokes a creepy, sometimes horrifying atmosphere, but balances this with whimsical interludes and comic relief. The novels are complex, with frequent use of literary and cultural references. Despite their complexity, Neil Gaiman's prose is straightforward and reader-friendly, and the stories move quickly, with multiple storylines resolving just in the nick of time. If you're interested, try starting with The Sandman. Douglas J. Preston writes adrenaline-laced works that blend thriller, psychological suspense, mystery, and horror genres. Preston frequently partners with author Lincoln Child. His solo work offers action-packed, twisting plots, sympathetic protagonist pitted against human and/or inhuman evils, and atmospheric yet real-world settings. Diverse areas of studies such as paleontology, archaeology, hard science, and more are central to the narrative context. Well-chosen everyday language helps pique readers' interest in these topics while preserving a fast pace. The clock is always ticking. Preston's likable protagonist must overcome initial fears before a climactic showdown with evil. If interested, start with The Relic. Worth noting, the book was made into a really good movie. Author and rock musician John Malerman's unpredictable works defy easy categorization, frequently blurring the boundaries between horror, science fiction, thriller, and weird fiction. Known for creepy, atmospheric prose and intricately plotted nonlinear storylines, his books frequently feature strong female characters struggling to persevere against seemingly insurmountable challenges. His embrace of the surreal encourages readers to suspend their disbelief and buckle up for the unsettling haunts ahead. If you're interested, try the book titled Bird Box, which was recently made into a movie and is available on Netflix. Dean Koontz novels blend elements of many genres, combining suspense with horror, fantasy, and thrillers to create a menacing atmosphere and nightmarish tone. His stories often explore the battle between good and evil, and his characters are up against nearly impossible odds from which they emerge victorious. Kuntz's likable protagonist may have paranormal abilities or somehow haunted by events they do not understand. These unsettling stories are often filled with explicit violence and strong language. If you're interested in giving Dean Koontz a try, start with Strangers or The Eyes of Darkness. Honestly, there is not a bad book to start with. Howard Phillips Lovecraft, better known as H.P. Lovecraft, is known for writing atmospheric and suspenseful horror fiction. His influential short stories and novellas provide detailed and descriptive accounts of monstrous, often supernatural threats to human civilization. These stories engage readers with personal first-person narration and the gradual revelation of increasingly terrifying and unbelievable occurrences. The characters within these stories question their rationality as they confront insidious aliens, grotesque primal deities, and deranged scientific experimentation. Fans of imaginative, supernatural horror and science fiction will appreciate Lovecraft's glimpses into the darkness beyond ordinary human experiences. If interested, start with The Call of Cthulhu, or if browsing our digital collection, try The Shunned House. Neil Gaiman, Douglas Preston, and Lincoln Child, Josh Malerman, Dean Koontz, and H.P. Lovecraft are available via the library's digital collection. You can access these authors by visiting our digital collections via the link on your screen. When you're at our site, click on Electronic Resources. To borrow a book or place a reserve, you'll just need your library card and the 4-digit PIN. If you need help getting into your digital library account, you can contact us via our website or directly at dhrreference@gmail.com. We're happy to help. I'm Jill Wyoskowski with Caroline Kennedy Library. Stay connected with us at dhcl.mishlibrary.org and on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now on Pinterest. Thanks for tuning in.